Hello, guys. Welcome back to the Cycles podcast with me, your girl, Adiambo, Kisumu City. You're hanging out with me, Maeve Cheryl, and I hope you enjoyed the previous episode where we had Ben Soul and we had him talk to us about his musical journey, his musical process, how the this Play Kenyan music conversation is affecting him and other artists. I hope you enjoyed that episode. And on this particular episode, I had asked you guys to post some of the questions you'd like me to answer. I like to do this Q and A's regularly in each season to just ensure that we keep abreast with each other. You heard what I said? Yeah, I'd like just like to hear the things you're curious about, and then we proceed from there. So I will proceed to answer some of the questions that you posed. I had asked for objectivity, and I'm glad that it came. I got it this time round. So the first question is very deep, and I don't know why, but it's Ati, what's your biggest fear about humanity? What's my biggest fear about humanity? I don't know. The fact that everyone has their own mind scares me because you might think you're on the same page with people, and then on the other hand, you are completely alone. And the fact that someone could just be blatantly lying to you, blatantly, blatantly lying to you, and you absolutely could have no idea. That's one thing I'm very, very scared about. Um, the second question is, what has your podcast experience been thus far, and am I content with the journey? My podcast experience has been very, very fantastic so far. This is like the seventh month in. Um, for the record, I record my podcast at Semabox. I work with an amazing group of people. Um, my producers are very resourceful. They're very friendly. The team generally is very friendly. So, with that regard, I really appreciate the journey. I also like the fact that the podcast has grown, like the views and the listenership has grown, and I'm very, very much thankful for all of you who have come along with me on this journey. The third question we have is, between the podcast or the legal space, which one do you see as a long term space, or is it both? To be honest, I don't know how to answer this question. Okay, I know, but I just don't want my mom to see this because I might break her heart. Anyway, the law was something that I wanted to do for a long time. So when I got the opportunity to do it, I pursued it, and I'm about to finish that journey. And then now the podcast journey is something I'm also equally passionate about. And I feel like both of them will mesh in my future. I feel like I'll find a way to make both of them work for me. If not, then I'm sorry to say, but like this side of things is what I am very much inclined to do for the rest of my life, if God allows. And then I think this person asked three questions. So I'll answer the third one as well. How do you balance school and work? Ha! I would very much like to say that there's nothing such as balance. There's no word such as, like, there's akuna kitu unaweza sema ati someone is balancing what. One, because I think Nema and I demystified this and we said balance is a facade. Like, when you're doing multiple things at the same time, then there tends to be a bias towards one thing that you like the most. So here I am telling you that, okay, the podcast, I love the podcast and every other thing outside of school, but I try to do my best. That's the word. I don't know. I don't know if it's balancing. I don't know if it's what. Maybe the exam results will tell us. Maybe the exam results will tell us, but I'm just doing my best to make sure I'm on top of everything. Um, the other question is also a bit sad. Guys, are we okay? Ati, what do you do when you feel hopeless and like everything is just not going your way? To be frank, I have felt hopeless like the entire when this month began. And when I feel hopeless, most of the time I sleep. I don't know if that helps, but when you sleep, at least the world stops kidogo. The other thing I try to do is pray. That's the time I pray a lot. I pray the most. The other thing I do is talk to people, talk to my friends, not just anybody, but my friends mostly. So I talk to people who would care to listen. And then the other thing, what do you do when you feel hopeless? The other thing I do when I feel hopeless, I think it's just that I retreat and pray and sleep and just chill and wait for like the nini, that cycle to Isha. The other question was this one, I don't know. Ati, when will you go out for lunch with me? I told you, if you want to ask, ask just directly. Just ask directly. And if it makes sense, we'll do it. If it does not, then sorry. Then you guys, these questions are a bit too deep. I don't know why. Are we okay again? So this one asked, Ati, what's your life purpose? I don't think I know that now. I don't think I know that, but I have glimpses of what that could be. And because I'm not sure, I don't think I'll answer you. So I'll just leave that at that. I have a glimpse of what it could be, but I don't know yet. And then the other question is, would you rather look like a fish or smell like a fish? There's no winning here. Look like a fish or smell like a fish. Okay, I think I'd rather smell like a fish because I can work with the deodorants and mix and even maybe shower and the smell will potea. But looking like a fish, that's permanent. A fish is fish ugly. A fishes fish ni fishes. Fish ni sura mbaya, sidhani. But I'd rather smell like a fish. I can figure out how to smell better. This one asked, why is Laura your favorite? Laura is my favorite because she is an amazing person. Laura is my best friend. I think you've seen her. She's my other best friend, just for the record. You've seen her on my Instagram page a lot. I love her because she's a good person. I love her because she's kind, because she listens, ish, and just generally because she's a good person, human being, a good human being. This one asks, can I be a friend on a personal level? Oh my god. It could be possible. I mean, if we met and if I got to know you and all that, then maybe we could be friends. I'm not closing out any possibilities because again, I've met quite amazing people on the internet. I've met amazing people who have we have proceeded to establish long-term friendships that have helped each one of us. I am hoping. So that's possible. And then this one asked, are you married? Married to what exactly? Married to who? I'm a child. I'm an infant. I'm a baby. So no, I'm not married. Ati, what do you call a three-humped camel? Do you know the answer? What kind of question is that? Shame on you. Three-humped camel. And you put an emoji. So that's two. I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. This one asked, what do you describe yourself as? What's different from 5 years ago? What do I describe myself as? I would describe myself as a dreamer. I'm a very, very big dreamer. And I think I've been this way for the longest, where I really do believe in the impossible. Sometimes when I talk about the things I see for myself or the things I wish for my family, they even sometimes don't understand, or they just look at me like, or my mom does this thing where she's just like, she just says, God bless you. But yeah, I describe myself as a very big dreamer and also someone who just goes for things. I was talking with my friend the other day and I was really scared to do something, but I did it anyway. And the phrase we coined for at that time was, we do things scared. So I think that's basically me. The rest of I don't think the rest is important. And then what's different from 5 years ago? 5 years ago is like, now is 2022. 5 years ago is 2017. 2017, I was right fresh from high school. That time I was a teacher at Buruburu 1 Primary. I was volunteering as a teacher. What's different, bro? The difference is I've touched my own money this time round, and it feels good. The other difference is that I feel like the me from even just a year ago used to care about what people would say before I did something. Like even when I was about to record a video, even starting the podcast, while I was starting it in my room, I was very scared of what the people who are obviously close to me or friends who would like see the link would think about me. But I think that Maeve is slowly fading away. And as I've just told you, I am just learning to do things while scared. And it's great. What other thing is different from 5 years ago? Uh, it's just the fact that I'm a bit more free. Also, that's the same year the law degree journey started and it's ending. So those are the few things that are different right now, and I'm happy. This one asked, "Ati does it jiggle?" My money don't jiggle. It just I don't know, but what doesn't jiggle? Like I have this and that jiggling, and then I don't know, but maybe yuck. Shame on you. Shame on you. And then this one asked, this one asked, can you adopt a 23-year-old man? And then we eat what? But I can adopt you only if you will make sure my assignments are done on time. If you'll make sure my bags are carried, I'll adopt you if. Are you coming with your own money? Because if not, then there's no way. Listen to your heart. Okay, sorry. Then this one asked a very nice question. I pondered about it. He asked, "Why don't you try doing adventure podcasts so you may test the different cultures?" That's a good idea. I can start moving, and you can stop seeing me on this yellow chair. We'll think about that. My producer is here. She's hard. So, kazi kwake. Then this one asked, hey, shit, this one is bad. Ati, have you ever thought about killing yourself? Damn. Do I answer or do I not answer? Anyway, we are for open and candid conversations here. So I have actually thought about killing myself at some point. Anytime we go through low tides, you just feel like there's no point of you being around. And uh I have actually even attempted to actualize it at some point, but I don't want to go into the details of all that because we are not being sad here. And I just wanted to tell you, whoever it is, if you're asking this because you're in that space or if you're feeling like that, that it'll end. Just to Tulia and then just let things cool down on their own because eventually they do. So I think it's normal also for people to feel like that. So don't feel like you're demonic or you're strange or stuff when you feel like that. And then this one also asked another heavy question. And this one is, how did your father's passing change you if it did? So number one, it heightened my fear of other human beings because his going wasn't natural, so it was orchestrated. And then the other thing it did for me was, again, I think it added to the fact to it's now fueled the fact that, you see, I've told you I'm a dreamer, so I think it's worked to my advantage because now I think I see life for what it is, and then now we are just going for things that we want to do because it's evident that we clearly are living on borrowed time. So that's what it changed for me majorly. And then someone asked me how I began modeling. Okay, this question has been asked a lot, and I'm glad you brought it up here so I can answer it once and for all. So, I wanted to be a model for a very long time. The 2017, immediately I finished high school. So, during this period, I had friends who were older and they had cameras. So, they were venturing into photography themselves. And then I saw how Instagram was popping that time. So, I saw their pages and all that. And then it was just a random, hi, can you come for a shoot? Because I was also posting my pictures and maybe I looked photogenic or something. And then they were like, "Come," and then I went, and then the shoot turned out very good. And then from there, I think that's where the interest came. So I didn't know how to pose. I didn't know all that. So they used to show me templates, and they used to show me their mood boards and everything. So I tried to replicate. And then now, just growing into it. There's a time in uni. There were talks about agencies. People were joining agencies to get them gigs and stuff like that. I couldn't join because there was a fee. I didn't have money back then, so there was a fee that was required, and I didn't believe that I could tell my mom at I want to join a modeling agency and then she'd allow. The other thing was, I used to hear stories again about those agencies that you don't get your the actual money you're supposed to get as a card. So I was just like, you know what, I don't have to go through all that trouble. And then again, I was doing music at that time very actively, so I cannot um go through two stresses, because even in the music world people want cuts and everything, and then now even here in the modeling world, cuts and everything. So I just used to watch people now who are doing it professionally, and I'd be like, sawa, one day I'll be there, one day I'll be there. Then now this thing of modeling clothes just started recently, and I think there's one page that was doing it very well, and they introduced models for onini ranging from all body types. And when I saw that, I was just like, ah, yeah, sawa, this is something I can also do. So I started shooting my shots, but I didn't get the opportunity because, number one, my portfolio, okay, my Instagram page was majorly focusing on Maeve the musician. I wasn't showing that I could model and everything. And then fast forward, that's like 2020. I remember my first shot. The first shot I shot was in 2020, and then now fast forward to like last year. What happened? No, last year again, nothing. So this year, and then also the clothes people model mostly are dresses, and then there was me who was very adamant about wearing dresses. I think my mom is very proud of me right now because I feel like dresses are a staple in my wardrobe. I used to detest wearing dresses. Even carrying handbags was a no for me. So even the way I transformed to this dress loving lady is crazy. So there was that again. So I wasn't even wearing. So this time, I think it was this year, I just wore a dress and I took random pictures the way you can take pictures for yourself. And then that picture it went wild on the internet. And then that's how I got some, those clothing houses I shot my shot to before. And then they didn't respond to me, or they said they don't have space. Now are coming to ask me to model their clothes for them. And I think I started like that. And then now I started to hear this word portfolio. I didn't even know what that was. So what I did was ask the photographer friends of mine to make one for me. And then that's the instrument I've been using. So whenever you hear someone ask you for a portfolio, especially for modeling gigs, it's like a collage of your photos, your best photos, and preferably professional photos that show the scope or the range that you as a model can provide. So based off of that, if you fit their criteria, you can be chosen and stuff like that. So for any girl who is watching and would probably wish or hope to become a model, an Instagram mod, I don't want to say, hey, okay, no, Instagram model sounds bad. It has a negative connotation to it. But anyone who'd like to work for clothing houses, you would love. The first thing is to be active on your social media. Number one, just make sure it's active, and then also, because you are targeting something, then make sure your posts are curated to sell that. Number two, professional pictures. You can save. There are studios that charge for 350 per picture, and you get up to 10 pictures. So that's like 3,500. You can save, and then get that amount, and then shoot, and then see how those pictures work for you. If they do, you can reinvest the money and continue doing shoots and all that stuff to build your portfolio, and then shoot your shots. You never know who might accept it. So I feel like I have answered that question in depth. So I guess we're okay on that front. Someone else also asked, what? This one is this one asked, at any corroboration coming soon. You will not amutaniininia juu ya hiyo kitu. The R's refused to R, and I think that's fine. This one asked, how do you deal with trolls? Jesus. You know, when people used to say the internet is an evil place, I used to think it was rumors. Or we used to see how these other celebrities were being trolled, and I thought, can't be me, never be me. Until I had my experience. I've had several experiences with trolls, and I don't know if there's a way to deal with trolls really, except to ignore. One, these trolls, the things they say, as everyone says, it is actually projection. Because you look at something that somebody is typing on your page, or a comment someone is typing on your content, and you wonder, how did they even arrive at to this conclusion? And then most of the time, it's people you don't even know who are coming to you with some stuff like that, and you're just like. And then the other thing I do, okay, there's one troll I saw that got a bit personal, and it's like I was experiencing my low tides, and then whatever they said like struck me so hard, and so I sent it to somebody, and they were just like, you know what, nini nini. And then it took me back to that. So it puts perspective. And they told me the same thing I've told you, that someone ajai hata kukumit, ajai kuona mahali popote, and then they'll post on your comment that unanuka. So unawanda unanukia kutoka wapi. So trolls are really just sad, bitter, hopeless people who should find something better to do with their time and their internet. And we just ignore. I think that's the best way to deal with trolls. Then any other question? Someone asked me, how do you get guests on your podcast, and what is the criteria? And do you pay guests? How do I get guests to come to my podcast? So obviously, it's just the way when you see someone and you want to collaborate with them, you will reach out automatically. So my guests are really thought about. So first, I identify what I will be talking about on the podcast, and then I identify someone I'll vibe with, someone who will be fun for the episode. And then once I do, I reach out. So there are two chances, there are only two outcomes. Either they say yes or they say no. And in the event they say no, sometimes I just proceed to do the show on my own. And when they say yes, we end up creating magic. Do I pay guests? I do not pay guests to come onto this podcast. So if you are hoping to come and you're hoping that your pockets will be refilled, I'm sorry. No, I don't pay guests. And then if there is a criteria, definitely there's a criteria, because, again, we're talking, and you wouldn't like anyone who's watching you to get bored and stuff like that. So number one, it must be someone that I will have a cool conversation with, someone who will actually bring value to the podcast. The other criteria is there a criteria really? Yeah, there are people who are generous in really promoting other people. So that's also a criteria I look at. I cannot bring you to the podcast, and then after we air the episode, I send you links and you're blue ticking, or I share the nini on Instagram and you do not even make a conscious effort to like do the same. So I look at people who are very supportive as well. And then any other criteria? Not really. So if you're good vibes, and if you cross my mind, and if you fit the topic of the Nini, then definitely I will reach out. Do I get no's? For sure I do. And as I've told you, if I get a no, I'll just figure out how to maneuver that. And then if I get a replacement, well and good. Any other question that I feel I have not answered? I think I've answered a lot. The rest, obviously, I've blocked the rest because they are lacking in objectivity. This one said, love you back. Again, said, love. I also love you back, especially because you love the podcast and you're supporting it. And I am very, very much grateful. Also, today is my producer's birthday, but by the time this episode is airing, it will not be her birthday. But happy birthday, Lorraine. she likes it when we call her douchey. So I add mine and I call her douchebag, but that's just for me. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Thank you so much for your questions. Thank you for participating. And I can't wait to see you on the next episode. So